update on AFRICUNIA television, reaching from our studio in the nation's commercial capital, Lagos, Nigeria. I am Deborah Ezeh. Many thanks for joining me. We begin from Nigeria. Coalition of full-bay professionals in Africa has distanced itself from a statement by the National Secretary of the Miyetti Allah, Kautau Hore Hal Hassan Salah, against the candidature of the presidential candidate of Labour Party, Peter Obi. The Fulani professional group enjoined Nigerians to disregard any statements from Miyetti Allah, saying the group does not represent or speak for the Fulani ethnic group in any way, calling on the Miyetti Allah to speak only for itself rather than misleading Nigerians that they were speaking for the Fulani. They lack the moral, spiritual and religious right to speak for the entire Fulani people in Nigeria, especially when they have reduced themselves to tribal bigots that they have no regard for other tribe and faith. To this effect, the COFPIA said full-bay people all over Nigeria would not be bound by that politically sponsored statement of Miyetti Allah. And now moving on, Nigeria's inflation rate is defied monetary tightening, hitting 19.64% in July, a level not seen in over 1.5 decades. The bombshell was dropped yesterday by the Statistician General of the Federation and Chief Executive Officer, National Bureau of Statistics, Prince Semiu Adeniro, when he released the Consumer Price Index for July 2022 in Abuja. Though experts insist the economy may still be going through the time lag required before the effect of monetary tightening measures is felt in the decelerating inflation, others warned that the supply-side factor driving inflation are still active, hence the failure could be scarier. According to the July CPI, a metric that measures changes in the general price level over time, the general price was also 1.82% higher than they were a month earlier. Despite the start of food harvest period, the food segment was not slowing down as it spiraled to 22.03% year-on-year as against 21.03% a year earlier. Month-to-month inflation was 2.04%. Adeniro said the increase was caused by a surge in food index attributed to distribution in the supply of food products. Now, still in Nigeria, there are indications that the nation's electricity supply crisis might worsen by Wednesday as organized labor has directed workers in the power sector to down tools and commence an indefinite strike over pending labor issues with the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN. Under the aegis of the National Union of Electricity Employees, NUEE, as a prelude to the strike, the aggrieved workers are scheduled to pick the Abuja National Headquarters of TCN Tuesday. In a circular by the General Secretary of NUEE, Joe Ajaero, titled Call for Action to Senior Assistant General Secretaries and Zonal Organizing Secretaries, dated August 15, 2022, the union directed them to ensure total compliance. Now, away from Nigeria, Kenya's Electoral Commission chairman has declared Deputy President William Ruto the winner of the close presidential election over five-time contender Raila Odinga, a trial for the man who shook up politics by appealing to struggling Kenyans on economic terms and not on traditional ethnic ones. However, chaos emerged just before the declaration when the Electoral Commission Vice Chair and 3 other commissioners told journalists they could not support the opaque nature of the final phase. Supporters of Deputy President William Ruto celebrated in the streets on Monday after Kenya's Electoral Commission chairman declared him the winner of the close presidential election over long-time opposition figure Raila Odinga. And meanwhile, Kenya's presidential election contender Raila Odinga's chief agent alleged electoral offences after Kenya's Electoral Commission declared Deputy President William Ruto the winner on Monday. According to the chairman of the commission, Ruto received 50.49% of the votes, while Odinga received 48.85%. We have intelligence and reports that their system were penetrated and hacked, and that some of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission officials actually committed electoral offences, and some of them ought to have been arrested if they were not arrested. The announcement was preceded by a declaration from the Vice Chair and 3 other election officials who disowned the result. Candidates have now 7 days to file any challenge over the election results, and the Supreme Court will have 14 days to rule. Still on the African scene, 2 human rights organizations have denounced the summary and extrajudicial execution of more than 40 people carried out in early August in Togori in northern Burkina Faso, involving, according to them, the Burkina and Han forces in two statements published yesterday. The government refuted this allegation while indicating that the army had initiated an investigation to verify the veracity and accuracy of these allegations. The Collective Against Impunity and Stigmatization of Communities has been informed since Monday, August 8th, by several witnesses and relatives of victims in the Togori commune, specifically in the village of Tafogo in the center-north region, of several cases for adoption, followed by summary and extrajudicial execution. The human rights organization said in a statement, in total, more than 40 bodies were found along the Tafogo-Borom Road, CIS said, adding that all of the people killed had their hands tied and were blindfolded. We now go on a short break, and when we come back, it's updates making the rounds on the foreign scene. Stay with me. Welcome back. Now updates from the foreign scene. A senior UN official is visiting Myanmar this week, the United Nations said, on a rare visit that comes amid domestic political turmoil and fraying ties between Myanmar and its southeastern Asian neighbors. Myanmar has been in chaos since the military overthrew an elected government led by Nobel laureate Aung San Suu Kyi early last year and launched a bloody crackdown on protests that followed. Ezeh, the UN Secretary General's special envoy to Myanmar, is visiting after extensive consultations with actors from across the political spectrum, civil society, as well as communities affected by the ongoing conflict. Referring to an UN Security Council call for an immediate cessation of all forms of violence and unimpeded humanitarian access, the United Nations said Ezeh would focus on addressing the deteriorating situation and immediate concern. And now moving on, Ukraine called for new sanctions on Russia and highlighted the risk and consequences of a catastrophe at Europe's biggest nuclear plant, where fresh shelling nearby has reignited a blame game between both sides. Ukrainian and Russian installed officials have traded accusations over who is responsible for attacks close to the nuclear plant in southern Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has warned Russian soldiers that if they attack the sites in the now Russian-controlled city of Enadhoda or use it as a base to shoot from, then they will become a special target. Volodymyr Rogov, a Russian-installed official in Enadhoda, said on Monday about 25 heavy artillery strikes from US-made M777 howitzers had hit near the nuclear plant and residential areas during a 2-hour period. Russia's Interfax news agency, quoting the press service of Enadhoda's Russian-appointed administration, said Ukrainian forces had opened fire with blasts near the power plant. Now, still on the foreign scene, Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said his predecessor Scott Morrison had undermined our democracy by secretly appointing himself Minister for Home Affairs and Treasury during the COVID-19 pandemic, in addition to the health, finance and resources portfolios previously revealed. Morrison, who stepped down as leader of the Liberal Party after losing a general election in May, has come under fire from senior members of his own party and its coalition partner, the National Party, who were unaware of the arrangement. After a review of the matter by the Prime Minister Department, Albanese told reporters Morrison had taken on the health and finance portfolio in March 2020, Home Affairs and Treasury in May 2021, and resources in April 2021. Albanese will receive legal advice on the issue from the Solicitor General and said it was critical of the Morrison government for allowing a centralization of power by the Prime Minister. And now on to the sports scene. The Premier League celebrated its 30th anniversary on Monday, marking 3 decades that has seen English club football transformed into the world's leading sports entertainment product. In 1992, the top clubs broke with 104 years of tradition by splitting from the Football League and controversially creating a Super League which would keep its own income rather than sharing it with the clubs across all 4 divisions of the professional game. The move only became a reality because it was backed by the Governing Football Association, a decision that was viewed as a betrayal by many of the smaller teams and by domestic television companies viewed with suspicion by skeptical fans. While 50 clubs are featured in the league, unsurprisingly given its origin, the league has been increasingly dominated by the big city club and now broadcasts to 800 million homes in 188 countries with 90 broadcasters and more than 400 channels showing games. The Premier League and its club count almost 1 billion followers on social media. And finally, Anthony Joshua has been speaking out ahead of the biggest fight of his career on Saturday against Alexander Usyk. With under a week to go to the biggest fight of the year, Build the Rage on the Red Sea, Anthony Joshua reflects on his first visit to Saudi Arabia in 2019 and how he's ready to put on a show for his second fight in the kingdom and second fight against his formidable opponent, Alexander Usyk. The time has finally come to face each other again, and in October last year, Usyk won the belt from Joshua in a great performance in which he imposed his style and technique to the physical capacity and power of the former champion. In addition, Usyk wants to bring joy to Ukrainian people in the midst of the Russian invasion. Usyk has 19 wins, no losses, and 13 knockouts, while Joshua has 24 wins, 2 losses, and 22 knockouts. And now that concludes the news updates on AFRICUNIA television. Do follow all our social media platforms displaying on your screen to stay connected and updated for news and other programs. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel and link us up on www.africunia.tv. Once again, I am Deborah Ezeh. Bye for now.